Hey Axis and Allies players, the good captain here. Welcome to Germany and France and possibly the UK's turn 3 in this game of Axis and Allies 1914. Let's review what Germany did on their turn 3. Still not able to buy armor yet. So so Germany buys 2 fighters, 9 infantry, and artillery. Part of that probably is a response purchase to Russia's purchase of 2 fighters. And then let's see what the movements look like. Yes, an attack into Lorraine. Have to say, I didn't see that coming. We'll go over that in a moment. Okay. Takes Karelia, takes Ukraine. Stacks in Belarus. Okay, and then yeah, splits Berlin. Berlin splits half of its forces go to the west front, half go to the east front. That's probably a sound play. It definitely doesn't highlight any advantage for the Entente on one front or the other. If you'd stacked up on the west front, then it might affect our decision making in the east as the Russians, and vice versa. This is another element I might bring up in the CP videos. Fighting a two-front war, which you must become comfortable with. Part of the struggle. Yeah, you know what's funny is you can. So, AAA records obviously the thoughts of the player because everything you do, even the experiments, gets recorded. So we could see that he decided better of doing that. Okay, so I'm just gonna I'll just skip to the end because it's just a little confusing. So he's got a contingent in Karelia, a contingent in Livonia, and he sends a blocker to Ukraine. That's what he did on the east front. Let's see. Yeah, and then he stacked up in Belarus and just pushed his supply train into Poland. Okay, on the west front he attacks. So let's pull up the battle calc. So this is slightly uphill for the Germans, but not by too much. You've got a -5 TUV swing, so that's nearly 2 pieces. There's a question of whether we get a 2-piece lead or just a 1-piece lead as the Entente. Of course, this is really almost at a piece count where you could argue that this is fairly dead even. Okay. Of course, that was made possible due to the German fighter here. So let's go through the results. And the results are basically dead even. The French have an odd number of defenders at 33, so there's sort of a 50-50 shot of whether they get, 16 or 17 hits. At any rate, the Germans get what they need to get, 15 hits, and the French scored 16 hits. They missed the coin flip on the 17th hit. But overall, this is extraordinarily par result. But I might take a moment here because the first thing I do as the French player on my turn is realize that there's at least my impression is the French have an opportunity here in terms of a counterattack. So if I dial it in, and this is a par result, so as a CP player, if I'm deciding whether to do this attack or not on my turn before I commit, I look for, and I think it's best practices to look for that. What is the counterattack opportunity, assuming the average result, right? And maybe slightly worse than the average result. You can kind of bake that in this game. So, and it just so happened that the most common result is what happened for both sides here. The most likely outcome is the outcome that occurred here. So the French have an 18-piece infantry and a 9 artillery counterattack option against it would have been either 4 or 5 German infantry. In this case, it's 5, and the Germans have air. So even if I don't bring in the French fighter, the positive it's a positive tub swing for the French. That is a 5-piece tub swing, and there's a 17% chance the French win this outright. So this is a commitment to attack. I, I feel that I am being dictated to attack. That's again, I'm using a battle calculator, but in 1914, it's not too cheesy because you can just it's a single round of combat, so it's you know pretty quickly what the what's going to happen or not. So you can just add these numbers up and sort of arrive at a rough conclusion of what's the most likely course of event, and then plan for worst case scenario. So what if I win the air battle? Well, let's say I commit that fighter. It's a 1-to-1 air fight. It goes from a +5 point swing to a +8 point swing. So, uh, and then look at this: the attacker wins 55% of the time. So that would mean there's such a thin layer of infantry protecting this artillery that I I think I'm just going to have to commit the fighter for now. This is the one that the French started out with from the beginning of the turn. So we're going to have an air battle, a 1v1 air battle, and even if the French, I should say, lose that air fight, it's still a 5-piece swing in the French favor. But of course, losing that fighter means that it's more like a 9-point swing, a 3-piece swing in favor. But it's still positive, and the I would normally, I guess I would say as the French, I would avoid this if I didn't know that I'm going to be cutting into his core units. I'm going to be cutting into his artillery. So the the, the, um, the incentive structure here, just as an Entente player, is to push for push hard on the counterattack. Whereas the alternative would be something like pull everyone out but one piece and body slam Burgundy with everything else I have, like 8 infantry and an artillery piece here. But then the artillery get away. I mean, he's got a thin reinforcement train, right? That's I should say, don't go into an attack without analyzing your enemy's counterattack option. But it's highly discouraged from doing this thing. That Belgian infantry won't be there. The Brits are going to take care of that on their turn. So he's got 2 infantry and 3 artillery, and we're expected to do we're expected to do 12 hits even if we don't win the air war. 12 hits is let's see, he's going to lose 4 artillery and 4 infantry and 8 artillery. So this is I don't know, looks pretty exposed for the CP. Uh, and as much as I don't want to engage in fighting as the French, all we really need to do is win in one area of the board as the Entente, and that's over here. What we just need to hold over here is this is such a I don't know, it seems kind of like a cherry, even if things kind of tilt the way of the CP. Looks too cherry to ignore. So we're not going to ignore it. Yeah, I'm just build all infantry. I could spike Belgium with 2 infantry right now, but I don't want to do that. I like to keep the French army as big and strong as I can and use the other powers as meat shields to protect the French. So I'm going to commit every piece that I can. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna put 1 infantry in Picardy for giggles, and 7 in here from Paris. And then Marseille will push Piedmont, and then Piedmont's actually, I'm gonna do this. Yes, I'm gonna load the 2 infantry that were in Piedmont onto the French transport, and we're gonna activate these French battleships and hit the Transjordan. This will assist the British in getting into the Ottomans a bit quicker. The main reason we're doing this is for the offshores. This is a 12-point attack. We expect to do 2 hits and probably lose the 2 on the return fire. The idea here is to break it down so that the British have an easier time of getting into Transjordan and then projecting their influence into the hinterland of the Ottomans. Down here, we unfortunately have to. I made a small blunder on the British turn, but decided it's not that big a deal. I mean, it is, but it isn't. There's a lot of flexibility with the Entente with regards to transports, but what I should have done is the British is put the transport here. I put it here thinking I could still get to Togoland, but that's not the case. From this position, it needed to be here. And if I was in this position here with the British transport, I could move 1-2, drop off a single British infantry into Togoland, kill the Germans where they are right now in Nigeria, and not have to let them come deeper into Africa, into Togoland. Instead, I'm just going to set up they'll advance one more space. I'll have to chase them one more space deeper. They'll survive for a turn longer than I would otherwise like, but um, eh, whatever. I mean, for the Entente, the Entente player can absorb little errors like that. The CP cannot, is how I feel. So here we're going to move this French transport up in preparation for a movement into Picardy or Belgium, and we'll just keep cycling through until we run out of options here. Yeah, so we're going to do the battleship battle first with the Transjordan. Yep. Battle in Transjordan. Battleships out. We missed one. And the Frenchman. Okay, so this is going to be a... and he missed one. Okay, ineffective all around. Okay, so we ended up piece swapping just one piece. Overall, though, the mission, I would write it off as a fail here. The idea was to kill two. Now we put more burden on the British to do this job. But, okay, no battle. Air battle, no worries. Air battle in Lorraine now. It's first to 2, and you're out. There is a small chance that, actually, here, I'm going to pause this because this is kind of a learning experience here, too. What I'm doing here right now is loading up a copy of the AAA version of Axis and Allies Anniversary Edition because I want to use the battle calculator that's on board this copy or this version of AAA. And what we are actually dealing with is artillery. Since they defend at 2, attack at 2, we're going into this fight. You can tee up off of this battle calculator what the actual odds are of a 1v1 fighter. The AAA battle calculator in 1914 does not do this. It doesn't know what's going on. It was programmed where fighters' influence on land battles, air-to-air battles, are not supported by 1914. So we kind of hijacked the one from Anniversary, and we have the 40-20-40. So essentially, there's a 60% chance that the defender will win or both will draw. You get it, right? So I'm not expecting my guy to win. I'm hoping he does, but I really would like, I'm okay with a draw, right? That would improve or lessen the losses on my side. Of course, he hopes for the same thing, but let's go back to 1914. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Miss to him. Miss. It just keeps going. I can't stop it. I hit, and does he hit? No. Okay, so now we already know the outcome of this. We're expecting a plus 24 tub swing in our favor. There's actually a 50% chance he's going to lose every piece here. More than 50%. No, he did not lose everything. So how good was this? Let's see. +1, par, picked up the tail, +1, picked up, so par, -1, -2, it's nothing to write home about. A little soft for the Entente, but yeah, okay, there it is. All the artillery are destroyed. There's only a blocker left. That's a mandatory, okay, and he rolled +1, so at least there was that. But that's it. That broke the back of the German army in the West for sure. So, a big sigh there. Okay, that's all right though. Still more game to play. Yep, let's done out. Okay, French are down to 25. So yeah, having a battle so close to home, that's kind of one of the downsides. Germany is further in than I am normally. So let me take a quick pause. Yeah, here's just the rolls here. So the German regulars shot at they shot 1 up, so that got recorded. The French overall shot almost down 2, but we have to take into account that battle down in Syria or whatever it was. What was it called? Transjordan, sorry. So yeah, they both rolled down one in the Lorraine. But the main thing is that the biggest thing was that air battle. Since there was so much artillery on both sides, whoever won that was gonna cash in. Okay, on to the UK turn. So I've decided to go 8 infantry, 3 artillery. I think that's a little light on infantry, but we'll survive. Not going to engage in combat. Not, not really going to do anything over here. We're just going to push forward. Okay, and yeah, there's something. If I was looking at this, let's see, that's a 4, 5, 6, 7. What is that? As high 70s, maybe low 80s percentage chance that we knock off 2 guys in 1 round of combat with the Egypt force? Let me check. Yeah, it's 76. Yep. Yeah, 75. And it's actually going to be worse than that because I want to use 1 British infantry from somewhere else. So the tough swing is still positive. So yeah, I'll take that 67% chance. And we'll attack. Meanwhile, this fellow loads up onto the transport and hits Albania. I think I'm going to keep that battleship there. This force groups up and chases that army that's in Nigeria. You come north, you load onto the transport. Actually, yeah. Activate the bombardment. That'll push it into the 80s for sure. Yeah, because we want 1 transport to help siphon troops from India into Mezzo, but since we're not doing that this turn, yeah, that's the right answer. So we do that. Morocco moves Algeria, and I move the main reason I move this transport here south of Albania is to pick those Algerians up and dump them into Egypt. Remember, we're trying to keep that Canadian shuck going. So in that spirit, let's move to that. Come on now. Okay. Just keep spamming that. If I don't know what to do with naval assets, I like putting them west of Portugal. These fellows will land in... Let's go Picardy and then pry up these 2 into the British transport and drop them into Belgium. We'll use the offshore and the attack power. I could have stacked them all 4 in Belgium, but 3 infantry, 4 artillery, so he could clear it, and then my French force is pinned by this single blocker here, so it would be deactivated. Yeah, this is the right move, I think. I don't. Yeah, we'll just play some solid Axis and allies there, solid and safe. Okay. Am I missing anything? No. I'm gonna pop that Austro-Hungarian transport with the Italian battleship next turn. Yeah, just the British are. This is the most fun power to play. Absolutely. You're safe. You get to do lots of attacks all over the board. You can spend your money in different ways and have still be effective. Yeah, this is the best power to be in this game. No stress, just relaxing, push plastic, and blow stuff up. All right, let's. Yeah, here we are. Conduct yes. Conduct yes. That's it. Pop him. Yes. And that's that. And yeah, got him. Got him. Miss, miss. Okay. All right. So these 2 territories, Albania and Belgium, will never be British, not unless Italy falls for Albania. Not unless. Oh, come on. Change territory owner. Sorry about that. And not unless France falls for Belgium. So the French don't get to collect on those. Have to tell AAA what to do there. Okay, and that's it. We're happy. Just drop them all into India. and pass the turn. Okay. So next up is the Ottomans, and then after that is the. Huh. So I'm just looking at the different options. This is one of the most distracting things. If I leave this open on my desktop, and I come in trying to do something like work, this is the most distracting thing. I'll just sit here and stare at the map and like solve problems that don't exist in my head. Okay. Next up is going to be Ottomans, and then yeah, Italy. Italy's got some interesting things to talk about, but probably be pretty quick next video or two. Okay, thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.